Alright, fam. The downloads have been received. I just spent about 3 hours in the sun, and I was given messages that I need to relay to you. Here we go. Guys, the answer is always going to be the same. No matter how you try to spin it, no matter where you are, no matter what you're doing, what your circumstances are, the truth is always the truth. Truth may seem subjective, but the truth is always the truth, no matter how much our ego wants us to believe our subjective truth. There's always one truth. It can be interpreted in many ways, and if you hear my dog, I apologize. But I want to talk about that. And the truth is, right now, you are resisting where you are, right? I understand that because you know the truth. You know it's possible when you build an online business, when you build a business, when you invest in real estate, when you create wealth. You know what's possible. The people that you can be attracted to, the people and the network you can have access to. You know it's possible, don't you? And I have compassion for that because I know exactly what you're going through. And if I can tell you one thing, it's that the more you resist where you are, the longer it's going to take for you to surround yourself with the correct people, align yourself with the most divine customers, and attract the most fulfilling, intimate, or friend relationship that you can attract. All this to say that the answer, the truth, is you need to accept where you are. Okay, you have a shitty job. I understand that. You're not making a lot of money. I understand that. You're in debt. I understand that. You have bad relationships. I understand that. But that doesn't negate the truth of the fact that you need to assess where you are strategically. So what does assessing where you are strategically mean? Okay, you're going to look at what chains are holding you back. Physical chains, people, relationships that aren't serving you, debt that isn't serving you. And how can you build a foundation to take risk? Because I can promise you, and unless you're somebody who's successfully built a real estate portfolio or a successful online business, then you probably don't have the wherewithal to say that you've spent as much building a real estate portfolio or building an online business as me. Again, unless you're watching this and you've done that thing. But to the person who hasn't, the fact of the matter being that to actually do the things that you want, it takes you being able to take risk for a prolonged period of time. And it costs more money than you think it will cost. So it serves you to build the largest foundation. And that's also not to negate, I don't even know what that is, negate the fact that ultimately when you're building on this journey, your mind is going to be what hinders you the most from actually creating this thing. Because the journey to debt freedom, building some solid cash, working the job that you don't like, and leveraging this time and situation in your dynamic to serve you in the future, that's a journey of every day realizing that it might not align, you might not align with where you are right now, but you need to have that drive behind you. And how do you sustain that drive? Well, you know the vision that you have. And how do you ultimately, the more traumatic of an environment somebody has, the more apt they are to want to change. So your trauma is actually your greatest asset. So that's number 1 or 2, whatever I'm on. Regardless, now you're taking action for a few years just to build the foundation. And surely you can learn how to make income, learn how to sell, start building something. But the fact of the matter is you're not going to get to $10,000, $20,000 a month, even $5,000 a month, a few $1,000s a month, just doing something passively for fun. And if anybody tells you that, they're lying to you. And ultimately, they're selling you on a dream because they're manipulating you and your fear and where you are. But I'm here to tell you that you have the capacity to do anything that you put your mind to, but it's going to take a few years. It's going to take a good amount of time. And ultimately, if you can control your mind through this time, and not resist where you are while you're working the job, saving the money, building the foundation, then I promise you in a year or so, when you go to quit that job, because there's doing that, there's building the foundation, and then there's strategy in quitting the job, and then there's strategy in building the business, then there's strategy in how do you invest in the real estate, what do you do when you want to sell education online. There's strategy behind all that, understandably. But I'm more so talking about, well, how can you even get to a point to figure out those things and take those risks? Because everybody has these abstract goals of being a millionaire, but how do you actually become a millionaire? Let's break it down. How do you make $100,000? And why is $100,000 so hard for people? And how do you go to $250,000 and $500,000 and so on? All this to say that strategy helps. And if you continue to neglect strategy, you're just going to continue to build deeper pits of fear, deeper pits of relationship hindrances. So certainly cutting out things that are overtly not serving you helps. But ultimately, I want to remind you, the fact of the matter is, right now, you don't believe that you are that because you don't have the online business, you don't have the property yet, you don't have the relationships or your own apartment yet, you don't have the business income yet, you don't have the clothes or the wardrobe you like. But that's okay, because this is where you need to be to figure out who you're becoming and who you want to become. Because I can promise you, you may know that you want to create an online business, invest in real estate, change your life, but that's just a vision. And that vision is what's going to spark action for the long term, and the trauma is what's going to drive the spurts of you not wanting to take action. That's the driving force behind it. But I can promise you, you might have that vision, but you don't actually know what it entails until you take action and start actively failing. So it doesn't even serve you to just study, really, to study and to be thinking all the time about what you want to do, because the thinking is what's going to sabotage you. So just take action, my friend. Take action. And ultimately, too, the biggest thing, like I said, that sabotages you is your own mind. So how can you let go of this sabotage? So certainly, start ridding the chains you have in your life and start ridding the people in your life that aren't serving you and surrounding yourself with people who know how you're thinking and know what you want to do with your life, and start consuming things that are aligning with that vision. It's as simple as that. If you can sign up for the next 3 years to dial in, you will achieve what you want to achieve. It's going to take longer and cost more money than you think, but that's okay. I'm talking to the person who wants to embark on the hero's journey and create massive change in their life and create change in every aspect of their life. But here's the caveat. The reason you want change right now, let me guess, because you don't like your life. You don't like your job. You don't like the amount of money you're making. You don't like the relationships, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whatever it is. You don't like the relationships you have with your family. None of that's going to change. You can't run away from that shit. I thought that too. I thought going to Costa Rica for a few months and being a digital nomad and doing all this stuff was going to solve my problems. But you always have to face your own demons and slay your own dragon. So I recommend start making amends with the people you love. Start creating systems in your life to have a healing dynamic where you can fill your own cup and then fill others. Because you're not going to prove to them that you can do it by telling them. You're going to prove to them by creating change. And it's your job. I'm talking to the person right now who's getting hate, who's getting fear and resistance, and has this resistance in relationships and life. But your only option, I'm talking to the one who's going to go above and beyond and be that unconditional loving support. Because right now you're searching for unconditional love, acceptance, and confidence, right? You're searching for that. So you're searching for validation from people. But I'm talking to the one who wants to be the embodiment of that and give the confidence, give the unconditional love to other people, because that's who you want to become, not the one always searching. How do you do that, though? Strategically, theoretically, and using the divine. Strategically climbing out of chains, strategically creating freedom, strategically learning, strategically aligning with the right people, strategically accepting the divine. Because the reality is, and I'll tell you from my own experience, thinking that I found the one, the girl of my dreams, yada, 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 all this stuff. When you're always attached to when I get the money, when I build the online business, when I bought my property. I thought I fixed it. I thought I solved everything. When I found a girl that aligned, I thought I solved it. But then you start acting out of fear again, because everything is fleeting in life. So it's the one who, when things go, he can let go, or she can let go with love. That is the person that you want to become. And that is the mindset and embodiment of the divine hero. So I want you to be a hero in your life. And I want you to realize that you are already worthy, brother, sister. You're worthy of it. That spark you have is exactly what you need. Now it's time for you to go take action and accept fully where you are. Those insecurities that are controlling you, the physique, the bad car, the bad relationships that make you think you are not, that's what's holding you back, and that's the problem. So if you can start shifting that in a spiritual way, and certainly start taking physical action to align, you will create change in your life. But be wary that physical action, the physical change of the money, the relationship, the wardrobe, whatever it is, the apartment, those are all fleeting. And if you keep thinking that that's the only way to do it, you will continue to be tricked. I promise you, as somebody who has received those things. I promise you. Why though? Why do you not believe that? And I'm telling you that you're going to have to go through it. My voice just cracked, but you're going to have to go through it. Kind of cracked again. Maybe it's the through it part. You're going to have to go through that thing to understand this. So I'm not telling you not to do those physical changes. I'm telling you to just be wary of the fact that it's not going to be the change that you think you need. And that's a good thing. But go experiment and learn for yourself, because you're not going to understand that until you fully attain that thing and realize it was always mental, because the patterns creep up again in some way. You always find something else. So when I bought my property, when I traveled, was doing digital nomading, and then when I came home, I was faced with triggers again. Oh, scary triggers. But your triggers are your greatest teachers. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Don't compare yourself to me. Don't compare yourself to anybody else. Stop watching content. Stop endlessly trying to solve. Start taking action. Get around the right people. Learn. Work your ass off. Work as much as you can. Save some money. Get rid of debt. Create freedom in your life so you can serve the people that you want to serve to the best of your ability. So you can attract that divine relationship that you desire. So you can travel and make money. Whatever it is, it's going to take work, but the work is worth it. And enjoy the work, because the work is what you need to enjoy, not the result. Much love, fam. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe, like the video, and let's get it, baby. Much love. You are worthy. Peace.